And actually, don't correct me because I really don't care. I'm a single mom, okay? I'm also a single 24-year-old woman. As a single 24-year-old woman, there's a few things that I expect from a man when it comes to dating me, especially if you hold me in the caliber of where I belong, okay? So, one, by the first or second date, you should have bought me flowers. If you don't buy me flowers, it's a no-go. Number two, you should be planning dates. Most definitely. We're not just about to keep texting and not seeing each other. Be intentional. That's number three, be intentional. Number four, being a single mom, I want you paying for the sitter. I want you paying for the sitter. The sitter's not even that expensive. But the fact that you think that I should come out of pocket, you want to take me out on a date, and you think that I should come out of pocket to pay somebody to watch my kid when you know what it comes with. You know what it comes with to date me as a single mom. I don't got too much of a support system. I can't just ask my mama. No, you can pay for the sitter. We don't even have to do an expensive date. We don't even have to do an expensive date. But if you don't think it's worth paying for the sitter to see me, especially when the sitter's not that much, it's like 30, 45 bucks, baby. If you can't pay 30, 45 bucks to see me, and you can even, if you don't got it like that, plan a cheap date. Baby, we can go lay down on the grass and stare at the stars and talk for 2 hours. But you're paying for the sitter. Because all I know is I'm intentional and I'm dating to marry, and my husband is going to pay for the sitter. Yeah. I'm sure nobody agrees with this. I don't care if you do. Because all I need is for one person to agree with it, and it needs to be my husband. Nobody else needs to agree with it but him.
I mean, she's not wrong, right? If that last part, no one has to agree with it but her husband. It's just, the guy that agrees with it, is he now your husband? Because the guys that tend to go along and say, yeah, I'm, we'll use the word, guys that tend to simp and say, yeah, I'll do whatever I need to do to get your attention and be around you, is willing to pay for the sitter. Is that the man that you want? Like, this is where I think, you know, again, because we never tell women, we never tell people not to want what you want. But you have to understand that as a single woman, as a young single mom, you're putting your pool into this small category. So you have to select from that small category. If the criterion is you have to pay for my sitter, you have to be okay with paying for my sitter. That is your category. That's the men you get to choose from. You don't get to now look at the wider pool of men and say, no, I want that one, but he's not paying for the sitter. That's the idea, right? Yeah, and we'll get into to more of this in depth. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day. If you're seeing me for the first time in a while, welcome back, right? If you see me and you subscribe in this first time in a while, then yeah, check your notification bells. I randomly sometimes I'll get people saying, yeah, I know I'm subscribed, but I just came with this. It's not in my feed. YouTube does what YouTube is going to do. We don't make too much of a stink about that. It is what it is. Uh, but again, back to the video, back to the young woman saying this is what she wants. She's dating intentionally. And I'm using this video because you know you often hear this from other creators or other people putting their information out here. You're saying dating intentionally, and the only one that has to accept it, that you only need one person to accept that, and then that's your husband. You only need your husband to accept that, but you're going about it the wrong way, or you're not choosing from the men that accept it, right? You still want your husband to be all the other things. If the only thing that he had to pass, the only rubric, the only measuring stick was he had to be willing to pay for dates. He had not this. He had to be willing to plan dates, pay for your sitter. Those were the only things that he had to do, right? And I think we often get into this space where we want to be antagonistic towards women when they say things like this, but she's not saying something unreasonable in that, hey, if you can't, it doesn't have to be an expensive date. We can sit and talk under the stars, right? But I do want you to pay for this sitter. So if money's an option, this probably can come out saving you. But the part where I think that's reasonable, right? You don't have to pay on something expensive, but I want you to pay for this. That's not totally unreasonable. What we push back on, and the first time I saw the video, the first thing that just hit me in my chest is I don't want to feel like I'm paying for your decisions in your past. And I understand that this is what, all right, this is what it is dating, single moms. But other single moms are not that unreasonable. They're not saying you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. They're not making that claim, right? This is something that got popularized some time ago, and then now it's sort of just trickled down into the younger community, younger generation. Men are looking at say no, even if he is your man, your husband, right? The potential person, he may just not want to upfront say, why am I taking on that responsibility? Not that it's a burden, not that it's expensive, overly expensive, but conceptually, it's like you made these decisions and you're not with that man, for whatever reason, jail, dead, deadbeat, whatever. But making a man feel like he's responsible or he has to pick up the slack from another, from something in your past is going to turn off a lot of men that are just saying, I know I'm worth more than that. We're not saying, to be clear, we're not putting down single moms. We're not saying that you're worthless, you have no value. We're not saying that men don't often get into relationships with single moms. That happens all the time. I don't see much wrong with that as long as people going into it with eyes wide open, understanding what's the dynamic. But let that gradually happen. Let him see your worth and value to him and his life and say, now, yes, I would like to make things better and easier for you. We're putting the cart before the horse oftentimes with these videos, with these ideas that women coming out and saying that he has to do X, Y, and Z. First and foremost, when I first meet him, I think when we hear about women saying that my man or does this, or the guy I dated did this, we're not saying, we're not often saying at what point in a relationship did he do that? Did he do that day one or did he do that day 117? Where he said, okay, I know your value. I know how much my life has improved with having you in it. I too want to improve your life for having me in it. And because men are often valued for what they can do economically, that support is usually in a financial sort of sense, then emotional. So if we're having real conversation and saying, yeah, he pays for the babysitter when we go out, but we've been doing this for quite a while. He knows me. If I don't know you, I don't want to be, you know, it's not my responsibility to take care of you financially, take care of you in any real sense. I'm not responsible for your happiness. I'm not responsible for your financial well-being either, but give it time. If you're worth something to me, and this is the value that part of the value I'm bringing in here, then yes, I want to unburden you. I have to care about you first. I have to know you first. There's no real other way to make this an acceptable thing in mass. And you want things to be acceptable in mass, so you have a larger pool of men to say, this one is my husband. If you have to start with he has to plan dates and has to pay for the sitter, that shrinks. And we all understand that there's a difference in quality in that shrunken category. But if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, right, take a look at those and let me know what you think about those as well. And of course, if you listen to some of my voice after I've been rambling on for 8 minutes and you haven't subscribed, come on, come on. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one.